Hello everyone, my friends. Firstly, I would like to apologize for the long period during which I didn't upload any videos to the channel for reasons unknown to me as well. After a hiatus in website creation for a while, I decided to start a new project. But I don't have any idea about this kind of project. While browsing my GitHub repository, I found that I had previously created a store website and a movie website and a social media website as well. In the meantime, the idea of cloning a window UI came to me. I fully realized that this is a stupid idea. It's not a stupid idea, but it is a stupid project. But the important thing is that I have never before created such as a kind of project. I apologize guys for this long introduction and let's get started. First, I began thinking about the tools I would use. Initially, I would need a TypeScript because I'm not good at it. As you know, we must sometimes, guys, step out of our comfort zone and challenge ourselves. After that, I choose Next.js due its widespread popularity lately. Then, wait, what did I say? Next.js. I would return to that point later. Then I chose TailwindCSS to facilitate the task, knowing that I'm not good at it. And I selected some other libraries like Redux to handle the state because the project will be somewhat large and so on. You notice it here guys, I initially used Next.js. However, after studying the project's requirements, I discovered that I wouldn't be needed routing or server rendering components and many other features present in Next.js. Therefore, I switched the framework from Next.js to React.js. Always guys, study the project's requirements before choosing the tools you will use. And it is not always the trending framework will be suitable for the project you will be working on it. First, I added an image of Windows as a background, and after that I created a window component that contains some buttons similar to those in Windows. This window component accepts children, and these children represent the content that will appear in the middle of the window component. After that, I created a function called drag and drop, and its function can be inferred from its name. Simply, it allows the window component to be draggable on the screen. And then I created a taskbar component, and I believe you all know the taskbar found in Windows, so I won't explain it. Inside the taskbar component, I created a small component responsible for displaying the time and the date. After that, I created a function responsible for making the window component go full screen simply. Then I moved on to the backend by creating some APIs responsible for fetching information about the real Windows system. Initially, I was going to write this information manually in JSON format, but then I thought, why not fetch this information dynamically? So I searched on internet for libraries that can perform this function, and I found a library called Systeminformation on npm. However, this library was missing one thing, which is fetching RAM information. So I asked ChatGPT how to do that. After that, I returned to the front end and I started creating the system information UI to display the system information that will fetch through the API. After finishing the system window information UI component, I added a proxy to React.js. However, when I tried to fetch data from the API, I encountered a challenging issues where I couldn't retrieve the data information from the backend, and the reason was unknown to me. I had correctly added the proxy key in the package.json file, but despite that, it didn't work. So I began searching for solution by reading article, reading React documentation, and searching on Stack Overflow, but none of the solutions work for me. After hours of searching, I found this article which basically said that after adding a proxy to the package.json file, you need to restart the React.js server. So I pressed Ctrl+C, then I entered the command npm start, and then suddenly everything starts working fine. There always seems to be a small error that takes hours to find, and when you find it, you wonder what was this silly mistake. After successfully fetching system information, I created a small component that displays a loading spinner while the data is being loaded. And then I started fetching Windows system information from backend through API and added to system window UI. As you can see, I have created two arrays in the Redux store. The first one is called Running Apps, which receives all the application visible on the desktop, or in other words, the running applications. The second array is named Desktop Apps, where every time we create a new application, we add it to this array, and then the main container will display the icon of all the applications that are running there. I added icon of the Windows System Information component to the desktop by adding its component to the Desktop Apps array that we have created earlier in the Redux store, if you guys still remember. I have made some improvement to the Windows component by adding some nice icons and colors. Additionally, I have created a small component called Opened Windows Display, which simply displays the application that running in the taskbar. Its function is to take the running application from the running apps array in the Redux store and loop through them. Now, I'm thinking of creating a simple task manager that displays CPU and RAM usage in the system, similar to what's available in the Windows. I found a popular library called chart.js, which converts data into visual elements. For fetching the data about RAM and CPU usage, I found a small library called Node.js-system-info, and I have created a small API to send CPU and RAM usage from the system to the front end. I want to add a text editor, but manually creating it would take a lot of time. So I decided to look for a library that provides this functionality. I found Tiny, which provides an editor component ready to use in React. After adding the library to my project, I have integrated Tiny editor component to my text editor component that I have created earlier, providing it with an API key obtained after registering on their platform. Next, I thought of creating a file manager to add a flavor of the operating system. As you know, there is no operating system without files. I created a component called File Explorer, which contains various components, such as display folders component responsible for showing the files, drives component responsible for displaying the hard drives, although I have added this component only in the front end, so it doesn't actually show the hard drives in the real system. Recent folders component showing the main folders like desktop, documents, music, etc. And finally, operation bar component. It's responsible for knowing your current path, creating files and folders, navigating backward, and other basic functionalities. I created a new slice in the Redux store called File System Slice, containing an array called root folder, responsible for storing all system files, and another one called recent, simply storing four main files: desktop, document, music, and photos. I also have a key named History Manager, which I will come back to it later. And last but not least, a key named Path Tracking, responsible for tracking the folders clicked by the user. Now, let's talk about how these files work and how we can create a group of folders inside a folder and a group of files inside a group of folders. The process was a bit tricky, as I had to choose the appropriate data structure and implement it. After some research, I found that a tree structure is the best data structure for storing folders and files because, as you know, each folder can contain a group of folders and files. After that, I created a simple class object called History Manager, responsible for navigating to the previous folder or returning to the next folder that was visited before, by storing this data in the Redux key called History Manager to make it easy to access. As I mentioned in introduction video, I have several projects on my GitHub, so I thought why not add those projects to this project by embedding them using HTML iframes. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more updates and similar content in the future. Your support means a lot to us. Stay tuned for more exciting videos.